don't think it's surprising, given the fact that Mohammed bin Salman really wants the IPO of Saudi Aramco on a very expedited timeline, and it's all about funding the public investment fund. So it's not surprising it would bring in the head of the public investment fund to be chairman of Aramco, given Mohammed bin Salman's broader vision. Now, this chairman doesn't have any energy industry experience, which is leading some people to scratch their heads. Again, I think it's about Mohammed bin Salman taking control of Aramco and really prepping it for IPO, again, on a very fast timeline.
Well, the CEO, Ahmed Nasser, is a lifetime oil and energy guy. So the functional, operational head of Aramco still remains
Absolutely
an energy guy. But we know that these types of moves at the very highest level in the kingdom, in Saudi Arabia, don't come without some kind of reason.
Well, it's also part of a broader shakeup. I mean, we had a number of royal decrees over the weekend. We have a new head of the royal court who is also closer to the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. They also split up the energy ministry. It was part of the energy industry and natural resources. They've basically split that up into two separate ministries. So it's part of a whole-scale sort of reorganization. But again, I think this is about getting the IPO done quickly. They want people who are very supportive of this process. And the question now will be, where do you list it?
Well, I mean, if we get it, I mean, this IPO, when you say quickly, I mean, this has been the IPO gift that keeps on giving.
I know.
Because it was supposed to happen last year, it was supposed to happen the year before. Do you think it actually does happen this time?
Well, I mean, I think that there's now a sense of urgency. And I think the fact that the bond issuance went better than expected, I think has given the leadership a sense that they can do it this time. They're looking to do a local listing in 2020 and then the international listing in 2021. But the real question is, where are they going to list it? Also the question of valuation. But where do you list this?
Well, some on their own exchange, I would imagine, the Tadawul.
The Tadawul first.
Yeah, and there's been reports that Tokyo could be in the running. Now, is New York, you think, off the table?
Well,
it's hard. There's a lot of
political
reasons here why New York may not fly.
It's hard with the 9/11 bill and also with the NOPEC legislation floating around Congress. We've been told that the Crown Prince would like to do a New York listing. Certainly, President Trump has tweeted that he wants Aramco listed in the United States.
But that opens them up to 9/11 bill. If people don't sort of track at this hour, the 9/11 bill would open Aramco up for lawsuits from 9/11 victims' surviving families, attaching the assets of a now U.S.-listed equity.
Yes. I mean, that has been the big roadblock in the United States. They had then thought about doing a London listing. But apparently now, with all the Brexit concerns, London may no longer be in the running. Then it was Hong Kong. But the problems in Hong Kong have led to some concerns about listing in Hong Kong.
Isn't this amazing? You know, what you're doing right now is what you do better than anybody else out there, which is all these sort of things we talk about for our U.S. viewer, right? Oh, Brexit, it's a little bit this. Hong Kong, Think about this now from Aramco's perspective. All this is tying together. Brexit, UK doesn't look that good. Hong Kong now is a little bit shaky. New York's got its issues. Suddenly, you're running out. We've just listed basically the top stock markets in the world.
Right.
You're running out of big, important places to list your stock for what may be the biggest IPO in global history.
We'll be big in Japan.
I think you are big in Japan as well. How does this ultimately play out for Aramco? They go. I know you're not an equity analyst, but they go public. Let's say it happens. Does the world receive it favorably?
I mean, I think the really interesting question is not only what does it mean for Aramco, the question is what does it mean for Saudi's broader diversification play? This is about funding the public investment.
Vision 2030.
Well, the Vision 2030, the Public Investment Fund, their goal is to create the largest sovereign wealth fund in the world. They're looking to have $2 trillion in assets by 2030. This is the cornerstone of that.
Is this an overstatement to go from a country that is oil-based, effectively, to a country that is
investment-based?
Investment-based with an oil backing.
Yes. They're essentially trying to do Abu Dhabi on steroids in terms of Abu Dhabi as a massive sovereign wealth funds.